voodoo.
Are people walking around with little dolls and like as soon as you fuck with them, they're like, okay, go. And you're like, oh, like is it voodoo dolls? Like the little dolls, how voodoo is depicted for us in North America or like in Hollywood, like they're just little dolls. They fucking
No, I think
stab.
That's more the memes on social media.
Yo, welcome back to the Immigrant Section. It's your boy Abbas Wahab. How the hell are y'all doing? First and foremost, if it's your first time here, make sure to smash that subscribe button, follow whatever you're listening, watching on. I appreciate y'all. Want to give you updates. Enough of that. Today, zooming into the studios, none other than Annick Bissainthe. What's going on, Annick?
I'm good. How about you? How's it?
I'm chilling. You guys are in the Quebec curfew. I mean, not as locked down as you, but I mean, we're living COVID life. We're all living COVID life.
Yeah, so we have the curfew now. Like it starts at 8. So like if you go out by 7:30, you need to like wrap things up and just go home.
That's what it is. Full curfew. Is it like if you look out the streets after 8, is it literally like empty?
It is. It's like ghost town. Ghost town. Yeah.
That's like some war shit. You know what I mean? That's so weird. Like there's just like a stray dog. Are cops like actually ticketing people?
I think so. Like there's the thing that happened in Montreal with like people, the group and like the synagogues, and then they got like the cops took them all. So like it's pretty serious. Yeah.
Well, so the synagogue, so the Jews in Montreal, they got together. They're like, fuck it. Yeah. Fuck it. It's Jewish shit, man. Fuck. They were like, we'll pay the fine. And then actually the others were like, what? We're not going to pay the fine. And they just got wrecked. That's so funny. The Jews got hit.
So they're pretty serious about it. Yeah.
This feels like some Nazi shit. There's no one outside after 8. The Jews are getting attacked. What the fuck is happening in Quebec? This is fun. Yo, just a little bit of background. The way I know Annick is you actually have an immigrant flavored podcast as well called the Immigrant Dilemma.
Yeah.
And you had me on a couple months back. We had a whole bunch of fun and I'm like, yo, I had to get her on my podcast. But you've been in Haiti. You're Haitian. You've been in Haiti for a month, huh?
Yes, I was there to see family. It's actually pretty good. So a lot of people like went back to their home during COVID because it was just easier and like it's best. What's not good like to just quarantine or like in the sun, and like it was actually pretty good. So a lot of people did that, but me, I had like family responsibilities type of thing to go. So that's why I stayed there for like a month, but it was pretty cool to see everyone, and there's no lockdown there, no curfew.
How's COVID hitting Haiti?
There are some cases, but it's like our population is pretty young. So I think that's the whole difference. Like, so it's like a little cold, and after they get back together, like it's all good. Yeah.
Man, every time I think about Haiti, I can't help. In my mind, I just picture the underworld from like Hercules, you know, where the people are like, you're on the boat in like hell kind of, and everyone's pulling, the ghosts and ghouls are pulling you like, oh, like all the damned souls. I'm like,
that is such a big stereotype for someone who has an immigrant podcast.
I know. Obviously, that's literally a Disney like depiction of like, I don't know if they called it something like Haiti, didn't it? Hades or something with an S. But
I had no idea.
Yeah. In Hades, like it's like the underworld. Like I'm talking about like cartoon fiction. I'm not like, I don't think of Haiti as a literal the hell on earth. You know. Like,
oh my god, I hope so. You should send me like
watch Hercules. Watch Hercules. You've never seen Disney's Hercules?
Yeah, but I never realized that. I'll check it again.
I literally might be making this shit up. I don't even know. But like in my mind, it was Hades, wasn't it? Like okay, I'm not gonna Google it, but I'm pretty sure it was whatever. So how's life down there? Like, did you grow up there and move here?
Yeah. I grew up there. Well, half, because I was pretty young. I was like about like 11 years old when I came here. So it's kind of like I grew up there and here at the same time, but I did most of my education like in Montreal.
Okay.
So
is Haiti a French colony? Like, do they speak French down there?
Yeah, we speak French and Creole. We have 2 official languages. So we were like colonized by the French and then a little bit by the Spanish, but then Spanish took the other side, Dominican Republic. That's how it split.
Oh shit. They're like, yo, fuck Haiti. They got some good baseball players up here. Let's go up here. Let's go. Throw this baseball around. I've never been to Haiti, and I don't think I know any Haitians too. I forget what area I used to live in, but I've probably ran into Haitians, known Haitians here and there, but I don't have any like close Haitian friends. I grew up in the city I grew up. There's no Haitian community or population that I knew of or that I was mingled with. So I almost know nothing about Haiti. I don't even know what the capital of Haiti is.
Oh my God, shame on you.
Okay, you're gonna have to. I am willing to bet the viewers and listeners don't know shit about Haiti. Okay, no, I'm serious. I'm not trying to like fire shots at Haiti, but all I know about Haiti, I swear to God, all I know about Haiti is that it got fucked up like 12 years ago or like 10 years ago.
Earthquake?
Yeah, the earthquake. That's all I know about Haiti.
The anniversary in January, like January 12th, it's the anniversary. It's almost like 15 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Were you there at that time?
No, I wasn't there, but like I know people that actually like, yeah. So it was that some families that were impacted by this. So,
is there still damage and destruction, and is there still remnants of it like now?
Less than before, but what happened is that we actually delocated. So we left basically. So like now everybody's like decentralized to one spot basically. So
I'm confused. What was it like before the earthquake and what happened after?
Yeah, it's like where the earthquake actually impacted a lot more. Like people don't live there anymore. Like a lot of people like left their house and they got like closer to the center. So I believe they call it decentralized. So now everybody is like in one spot. Like it's the spot to be. Yeah. So it's switched. So we don't see it every day, but if you go back, you can see some leftovers of the earthquake. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But not much. They definitely rebuild.
What's the capital, and is it on the coast or is it more inland?
It's west. It's like half inland, more on the coast at the same time. So it's like if you the island, it's like that. We're on the west side, and it's like this, and then the capital is like in the curve here. So you have access to like water, but you also have access to like land. It's like you're really like in the middle. So it's really in the middle of the island, like our part. Yeah.
What's it called?
The capital is called Port-au-Prince, like the English people like to say it.
Port-au-Prince?
Port-au-Prince, yeah. They say it with the English accent, but in French it would be like Port-au-Prince.
That sounds like a resort. That sounds like a resort name. Like, yo, we just got tickets to Port-au-Prince. They had an amazing deal for the whole family. It's a 5-day all-inclusive getaway in Port-au-Prince. That's not all reflective of what life is like in Haiti.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So cliche.
For anybody who's been to Cancun and stepped out of like the Cancun resort, like Dominican and Cancun. Dominican. Well, I went to Dominican for a resort, and we left the resort we did some sketchy stuff. Like we weren't even planning to be sketchy. We just wanted to ride boats, and we ended up doing. But anyways, that small amount of time from leaving the resort to seeing Dominican, I'm like, this is like Sudan. This reminds me of Sudan right now.
Yeah, it's like two different worlds. Yeah, obviously there are like bad places and good places. Like if you go up the mountains, like it's pretty nice. There are good neighborhoods as well. Like it's like all third world countries. Like you have the bad and the good, and it's all mixed up. But that's how it is. Yeah.
So what was the vibe like there for a month? Like are people like your family there? Is it everyone like? Is it very close family ties? People are always together, or does everybody try to go make it somewhere?
No, it's actually, that's what I miss. It's like very the family side of it. Like we're very like close, and the mentality is very like family sticks together, like blood sticks together as well. So so that's the vibe actually. It's very like you take care of the people that you love, and then like it's hard working as well. Like people work a lot. And because life it's hard, like it's not like we have access to to everything, like in the North America country, like in the North countries, like it's definitely difficult. But and also the make it mentality, there are people that make it there. Sometimes it could be easier to make it in countries like that than like in Canada or USA. So I guess it's just a matter of perception and a definition of success too, because I feel like a lot of people, especially with immigrants, like it's the American dream. It's like you need to make it like in these countries, but is it really the success for everyone? Like not really. So it's yeah.
What's the day were you in the capital or were you
I was in the capital?
And your family's from the capital?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like the way I grew up was the capital of Sudan is Khartoum, but like I grew up kind of in the villages, like with the Hindi, where I'm from, which is like 2 hours out. So the day would be like when I wake up, there would be there's a big vase in the middle of like where it's a mini family complex, and you have a metal cause, it's called, and you just scoop your water. Like the fresh water is in a big vase and it's replenished like every 2 days or something.
Oh.
So it's like that. And then like the power cuts every 4 hours, probably the power cuts for a couple hours. Like, is it similar or is it way more advanced in the capital?
Well, it's a bit of both. Obviously, it depends on the structure that you have. So the difference would be like you need to create your structure. Let's say for the water, we buy water, especially now everybody move. So in the I don't know how to say that in English, like the flat part of the country, like water, it's much easier to take it like les plaines.
Okay, like the plains.
Yeah, the plains.
Sick. Le plain. I'm like plains. Right?
So
I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's plains.
Yeah. So since we move more into the mountains, so now we need to buy water because we don't have access to the water as it was before. So you need to buy like trucks with water, and then they need to bring it to you, and so you can buy like 2 gallons or. I believe it's gallons.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, so you buy that because the measures sometimes are different. So you need to buy like every 2 weeks depending on how you use it. So you need to buy water and electricity. You need to have like something we call like Delco. So it's like
is it like a card?
No, not the card. It's like the actual machine.
The generator.
Generator, yeah.
Yeah, Delco's the brand, right?
Oh yeah, so we call it Delco.
I know.
We
Delco.
do that a lot. Like we just take the brand and then that's the name for the thing.
And if you don't have a generator, like the public electricity, will say, does it cut on and off all the time?
Yeah, I don't think it's on and off. It's just more like extreme. So you either have it or you don't. So and it depends on the areas too. There are some areas that are more they're like in the priority line, and in other areas that are not. So it depends, obviously. But I have to say, like, basically, if you want to live well there, you need to get your structure. So that's why sometimes you need a lot of money to put that structure for yourself, because the government doesn't have it for you.
Gotcha. So does everybody have big water tanks on their roof?
Literally.
That feeds the house, and a generator on the side?
Yeah, exactly.
That's Khartoum. That's like Khartoum, Sudan, like straight up, like the exact same thing. Like big water tanks on the roof and a generator on the side. We didn't have a generator. There's like a card system where like almost like a phone. You know how the pay as you go minutes?
Yeah.
They have like a similar type thing in Sudan, but it's all like you gotta pay to play type deal. Okay. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta pay to play. That's the mentality. Like if you need something, pay for it.
Exactly. What's it? Is there in Sudan? Everybody tells their kids to be an engineer or doctor. And like, that's what everyone is flooding all the colleges to be. What's like the thing that young kids are like, do they really like prioritize agriculture there or medicine, or like, what's the thing they tell you to be? You know?
Yeah, well, by generation, like on my dad's generation, it was more agriculture. Like my dad is actually an agronomist, so he does agro in English would be agro commercialization. So like in the industry, he works more in the industry, like selling, like let's say orange juice and stuff like that. He's more in the selling part. Like
gotcha. Like he'll go to Tropicana and be like, I got mad acres of oranges.
Exactly.
Like I'll light it up for you. Yeah.
That's
like
it.
your dad is the the plug of fruits. He's he's like a fruit dealer or like a vegetable dealer.
Exactly. So to put it like that would be this. But I guess now in our generation, it's like it's flipping a little bit. But the mentality of being a doctor, an engineer, and we have other ones too. Accountants. It's like 4: lawyer, accountant, and doctor and engineer. So if you're not these 4, you're not gonna live. You're not gonna make money. You're not gonna be able to eat, basically. But now I was actually very not surprised in a bad way, but like very like surprised to see that they're doing the switch now into digital. And I'm in digital marketing. I studied sociology and I'm trying to do like digital sociology. So they're doing a flip now into digital, and also like the phones. Now everybody has a phone. Telephones are like, everybody has like iPhones. Like
everyone has smartphones.
Crazy. Yeah, they all have smartphones now. Yeah, it's like crazy. Yeah. And now they want to do that flip into digital. So I was very happy to see this. So to answer your question, yes, the mentality, like culturally, they want you to be like an accountant, doctor, lawyer, and engineer. But the culture is also moving. The society is moving. So it's more like the parents, they're gonna like impose you something, but socially it's moving.
Is it really religious down there? Or is it like liberal vibes?
They're like half. Depends which part you're coming from. So it's very religious. Not just Catholic. There's also like Adventists, Protestant, and
these are all like Christian brands, essentially.
More Christian brand. I saw some. There's actually a group of Muslims, very minimal. But I saw women with the hijab, and I was like, "Wow, I've never seen this before." Like they're a little group of it, yeah.
Yeah, she had a hijab on with a fucking iPhone in her hand. You're like, God damn, Haiti. All right, Haiti's changing. I like the vibes. She was listening to WAP. You're like, okay, this is all right. Yo, the last thing I want to be. I think that's an amazing like evolution for like the presence of religion, but the last thing you want to be is as a Muslim in a place of where you're the huge minority. Muslims, man, we're good in a majority, man. When we're bad shit seems to happen when we're like minor, like look at China and shit like that. Like when we're a small minority, man, Muslims get fucked over. So
yeah. But so far, nothing is being done to them in Haiti. They're very good, and also like. It's just, I never seen this. It's not common, but apparently I asked and they were like, yeah, there is a community, like a very small community, and also like Judaism as well. There are other religion, but it's just minorities. It's more like Christians that would be the
big majority,
big majority. And then also Vodou.
Voodoo, yeah, because of the Creole, right?
Yeah.
Yo, do you believe in that? Or like, every time you go to those countries, they have stories like in Sudan in the villages. They have all these like spiritual stories of like, don't go under the big tree at Maghrib at sunset. Don't go under that tree because the half horse, half cow, half human is going to come fuck you up. Like there's so much of that in those countries.
Yeah, there are, but I did not receive that education. I'm more on the Christian side, but I see, like, I can understand it. I can, like, there are some things that are cultural, let's say art. There are representation of it in our art that I would understand. Like, I know where it's coming from, but that's all I would know. I never practice it, or I never heard people practicing it as well. So it's like, it's very two different worlds, literally. Yeah.
Okay. That's that. Are people walking around with little dolls and like, as soon as you fuck with them, they're like, okay, go. You're like, like, is it voodoo dolls? Like the little dolls, how voodoo is depicted for us in North America, or like in Hollywood, like they're just little dolls. They fucking stab.
That's more the memes on social media, especially like, for example, for Trump, when he got elected, there was that memes online, the little dolls of him.
Oh, I missed that. Like there's so many memes these last couple of years. I can't at all keep on track with any of this shit.
Yeah, especially the one now with what's his name, Bernie Sanders sitting.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, what's the next one? I couldn't care less at this point, to be honest.
Yeah.
Memes came and went as far as I'm concerned. There was a day where I would go on remember 9gag.com? Did you ever see 9gag? Yeah. 7 years ago, I was in a internship and I remember checking 9gag every day.
Oh my God.
Just little chuckles here and there, but memes are just like, forget about it. Now you need video memes, That's what a TikTok is, I guess.
Literally. Yeah.
When you go down there, do they call you Canada girl?
Because of my accent, because like they can see you don't live there. It's like I speak Creole like fluently, but let's say there's some new words that coming up this year, I'm not gonna know it. Like I did not keep track of all the expressions.
Like the lit of Haiti, you don't know it.
Yeah,
yet,
I don't know it exactly. Yeah. I don't know it. And then there's also like you can see like the way like my lifestyle is different. So like I'll be talking to my friends and we're like, yeah, I do this. Like, and they're like, no.
Yeah. You're like, I do yoga on Sundays, don't you? They have a voodoo doll of you. They're like, bitch.
Okay, it's not that bad. It's not in that extent. Oh God, you're way too funny.
Like they're just quickly making the voodoo doll of the person they just meet. Like, say something, I dare you. In a minute, I'll be done this shit. Say something, nigga.
Oh, you would have been kicked out.
Yo, I gotta know. Is there a word for like Haitians who live outside Haiti and then they come back? And like, is there like an outsider type?
Yeah, like diaspora.
Oh, besides like the standard is there like an internal one in Haiti? Like, oh, she's a
the one I know, it's diaspora. I've heard like zo. There are a lot of zoes. But zo. I wouldn't know the meaning of it. I just heard of it. I thought it was more about the diasporas, but it's I don't know them. There probably are, but that's the ones that I know.
Interesting. Yeah. What? Maybe it's like because you're from the capital, people are more chill. Because I guess in the capital of Sudan it was the same vibe, but in the villages they'd be like, "Oh, Canada boy," they'd be touching you and shit.
You literally need to walk with your passport. And
oh yeah, right. Like around your neck, just flexing on people. I
could give you a green card.
If you were trying to sell people to go to Haiti, what would be the one thing at least, or the couple things they got to do when you're down there? What do you have to do in, what is it? Port-au-Prince?
Yeah. Port-au-Prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. There's stuff to do. Well, go to the beach. Definitely. That is something you need to do. Like we have beautiful ones. Like it's very, very nice. It's clear and blue, like amazing ones. And also like learn about the culture, like our dances, go to like concerts. We have a lot of concerts. Like Burna Boy was in Haiti in December.
Oh, you saw Burna Boy there?
Yeah, it's like we have like big people coming, like doing concerts. And so like a lot of people, like they really like it. They heard of it like internationally. Like Burna Boy was in Haiti, so like their concerts are pretty good. And also like our concerts, like cultural concert, like the compa, listen to our music. And then now we have like other styles as well. We have something called like rabodai. So we can like definitely go into our dance concerts and stuff. That's really something to do. And also like art, checking like all the arts. You can definitely see them like on the streets. And we have like good restaurants too to check. There is one called like Observatoire. You can actually see the view because there are a lot of mountains too in Haiti. So that restaurant is like in the mountains, so you can see like the view of the whole city. But other than that, it's like if you know people that live there, it's better. Like
of course, yeah, that's the case with anywhere in the world, right?
Yeah, they would bring you to like better places. But from the top of my head, literally, that's what I would say, because I don't always go as a tourist as well. Like I go to see my family, and so it's mainly that. Like I don't do touristic, but we have also like the Citadel if you want to do like a little local touristic like vibe. The Citadel, it's like that's it's not like in the church. Capital. Yeah, it's actually it's like it's like very like ancient, where some of like the, how do you call them? It was like a military base, and you just could see them. It's actually in north of the country.
Okay.
And so it's very beautiful. It's one of our monuments. How can you say?
Monuments, yes.
Monuments, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I love about French and English. La Plains.
Yeah.
Monuments.
It's like the same word, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you're like, I love that. I love that.
We have a lot of monuments that are still there. Some of them got hit by the earthquake, but other ones are like still there. So we were lucky with that. But it's more north, like capital. We don't have like much monuments in the capital. It's more like outside of the city.
Who is there? Like when you see non-Haitians, who is predominantly the non-Haitian group there that you see?
There's pretty dominant Haitians there.
No, but I'm saying obviously the Haitians are like 99, 98%. But I'll give you, for example, in Sudan, the most people I see non-Sudanese and like like Egyptians, because like we're one and the same pretty much, and it's Chinese.
Oh,
because there's so much Chinese like investment and contracts for natural resource exploitations type stuff. There's so much of that happening there that they're there in huge numbers. And you see UN land cruisers like white people in them. Is it a similar vibe in Haiti?
Not now. I feel like there are waves of it. Like we had UNs too, but now they're not there anymore, which is good because they did a lot of bad things too. So
what they do? Wait. The UN fucked around in Haiti?
Oh yeah, they did.
Please tell me what they did.
Rape.
Wait. The UN people were raping people?
Yeah, it's like a whole story there. So, but they were here for a good long time. So it's like it's a huge topic of the UN. So
for years, and then they disbanded it. They left Haiti completely.
Yeah.
There is no UN presence in Haiti.
No UN. Yeah.
Wow. When did this happen?
I don't remember correctly, but like a few years ago. Like,
wow, damn, the UN, because people got to remember the UN is just a group of people.
They're supposed to help.
Yeah, they're just a group of people that are in like these countries that are just like in like almost like a boarding school for adults.
Exactly. Yeah,
and like help. You know what I mean? Like you're here to help. That's crazy. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's like crazy. But we have populations of like Arabs from Lebanon and Syrians, but now some of them are just Haitians because it's generation by generation. But there are a lot of them. Yeah,
there's a lot of Lebanese and Syrians.
Yeah, we have shishas.
Do you have a lot? I just had some earlier. You have a lot of you have shisha cafes in Port-au-Prince? A lot?
A lot of them. It's like it's just a place to be. It's even part of our culture now. Like
is one of them called Aladdin's?
No, we don't have Aladdin's, but we have like I think there's Magdous. There's Magdous and there's like another one which is like a Arabic name, I think. So there are a lot of them. It's like
really? There's a lot of Lebanese and Syrian. The Syrians, is it since the Civil War, or is it from generations back?
Generations back.
Oh, cool. Is it like a direct? I'm trying to think of the world. Like,
no, they just left their country. There was another war a generation back, and they just left. And
like the Lebanon War in the 90s.
That one, but even
further back.
Yeah, even further back. Like and then we just open our doors and we accepted them. Yeah, they came with nothing, and
Are they Are they well-to-do? Are they respected? Or are they like? What is like the class setup there of like they're the of course. Oh my god. Those fucking Lebanese fucks, bro. They did it again. They did it in Haiti. You opened your doors and they climbed up they're the elite. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that so funny? Like the Syrians too?
Yeah.
That's so funny. So what are they like all the doctors? Or are they in politics or what do they do?
No, in like food industry, supermarkets and
like they own the supermarkets?
Yeah, of the foods. Yeah.
Interesting. Are there big chains? Is McDonald's down in Haiti?
No, it was, but not anymore.
What's the hottest chain in Port-au-Prince? Like you gotta
Nothing.
have nothing. There's no. It's all like mom and pop and small businesses type deal. Okay, interesting. So I always ask these questions on. Wait,
Well, in the food industry, there's nothing, but like we have like for the cars, we have like brands like Mercedes, Toyota, and stuff. Like these will be chains, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
More in car industry we do have, but food industry we don't have any more chains. No.
Interesting.
No.
It all left with the UN, huh? The UN. No, I have a friend in the UN. She's in like fucking Iraq, I think. I gotta ask her about that. I'll be like, hey, your Haiti chapter was they thought they were in the underworld, huh? Like literally, like they're like Hades. I've seen this in fucking Disney. I've never heard of that. It's funny, the shit like that you never hear about it unless you're in that country.
Yeah, it's crazy unless you're like with the group. Yeah. So there's that. There's a bit of a few Quebecers too, and there are few Quebecers. Yeah, a lot of them decided to do the opposite when we're leaving to come to Quebec, and they're going to Haiti. Yeah.
I always ask these questions. Two questions. What's and you don't even have to answer them now. You could mull over them. What's something you've only ever seen Haitian people do, either in Haiti or out of Haiti? Only Haitians do this. And another one is, who do Haitians always talk shit about? You know, I find every country always they talk. Everybody at least has one or two or three people that are the go-to. Like, this guy's a fucking Venezuelan over here. You can tell this guy's Colombian. Like the South Americans, they all go in on Colombians.
Seriously, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because apparently Colombians think they're the shit. I know some Colombians. I mean, they're cool, but like my El Salvadoran friends, my Guatemalan friends, they're all like, Colombians. You know, like Colombians are the Lebanese of South America.
I was wondering about that. I would say, well, I'll start with that question. Americans, US.
Always talking shit. Of course, that's almost the default. That's hilarious.
It's the US, definitely more the US. And
what did they just say? You're fat or what?
Well, there's that mentality of the culture. It's like just the US out there. It's like freedom. They do whatever they want, type of thing. They have no manners. You're coming from north. Type of, that would be the mentality. It's like, yeah, tradition. It's like family is not important, type of thing. That's the stereotype.
Yeah, it's the individual comes first.
The individual comes first. Yeah. So it's more that stereotype. So sometimes when you say you're like coming from Canada and US, so they can be like, oh, so you're that type, you know, and they just throw you all the stereotypes.
Oh my God. So Canada is boxed in with America.
Well, they know the difference, but sometimes they can just box at it. If you do one thing that's similar to that, then you're screwed. Yeah.
Do you say I'm coming from Quebec, or do you say I'm coming from Canada?
I say Montreal because.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's just cut to the chase.
I just got to the chase because there were a lot of Haitians in Montreal, and
that's where it was. That's where it was. I used to go to Montreal for something. I knew there was a thing. Lots of Haitians in Montreal because there was.
They know Montreal,
and lots of Lebanese too, because Lebanese speak French big time too.
They speak French too. Yeah,
like in Lebanon, French is part of the curriculum, like teaching you French.
It's Lebanese and French. Yeah, it's Arab and French. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, and things you've only seen Haitians do.
That's hard. I don't know. It's like. I would say,
or something you've only seen in Haiti.
Something I only seen in Haiti. That's hard. I guess that's.
I don't want to put you on the spot. You could just literally like mull over this.
I would say that's when I become a diaspora. I forgot.
Yeah, exactly. They're watching. All of your family's watching like this, like. Mm-hmm.
Well, typical. that too, but I would say like Congolese do that too. There are a lot of African countries that do like the and the treats like. This one,
yeah, the Jamaicans do that too.
Jamaicans do it, Caribbean do. So it's not only us. So that's why I'm like it's hard. I honestly I don't know. I can't tell. Traffic.
Traffic. There must be a lot of Haitians in LA then, you know what I mean? Like, wherever there's traffic, that's just there's a lot of we got a lot of Haitians, you know. They The
But
Haitians
we do
cause
the
traffic.
traffic. It's because we just cause the traffic all the time because it's studied that traffic is because someone decided to go the other way and then it just creates the traffic. Sometimes it's by nothing. And you just have a traffic. Sometimes you're stuck for like more than an hour. And after when you pass, you finally like pass, you're like, what happened? What was
And you don't even know.
You don't even know. So,
That's the worst.
yeah.
I hate that. You know, you ever pass where eventually when you do start moving, you see that there's an accident on the other side. So the whole reason it stopped is because everyone slowed down to look. That's the worst. It's like, fuck, you know, like miles ahead, there was an accident and everyone's just like, oh, rubbernecking, we call it.
Exactly.
I bet in French it's called le rubbernecking.
Remorquage. No, I would say in a family gathering, I guess the food, there's like some typical things we eat. So that would be really us. Like they always do that. Like if you say, let's say I say I'm vegan, I don't eat meat, you would literally destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that's only us. Like other cultures do it too. Like it's hard to
yeah, like I don't even know in Sudan it would be like you wouldn't even say you're vegan. You would just be like, oh, I can't have meat. It's like just say it. The doctors. Say it's a medical problem. I can't eat that. I can't eat meat. It's a medical problem. Like I don't even know there's a word. Like I'm vegan. What would you say? I'm different. You know what I mean? Like, I'm confused. Yeah. So meat is like a huge part of the diet in Haitian.
Yeah, it's a huge part of the diet in Haiti, and it's also difficult to like just take whatever doesn't have meat because like our salads do just lettuce, tomato, like all the other non-meat stuff. It's just basic. So if you decide to eat whatever doesn't have meat, you're kind of screwed because it's just gonna be lettuce and tomato.
Is it beef? Is it big on beef, or is it like pork heavy?
Yeah, we're pork heavy. Actually, our national plate is pork, so griot.
Okay.
So that's pork. So we're pork heavy, and then beef, chicken and pork. Pork will be more. Beef, we do it like for occasions, I would say, but it's mainly pork and chicken that we would eat every day. And then pork too, it's our national plate. We don't eat it every day, but we eat it often.
Okay, fuck yeah. It's do the Lebanese and Syrians eating that pork? Huh? Be honest with me.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, yeah,
They're just Haitian now.
You Lebanese. I have a lot of Lebanese friends, and there's so many Lebanese in Montreal too.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends too that are from Lebanon. Yeah.
And they listen to this podcast, so every time the Lebanese come up in any way, I love talking shit. You know,
They're like, "Oh, Abbas, why did you say this?"
Oh, it's the Lebanese. It's like you can't say that to me. My eyes are blue. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yeah, because some of them look like
Have you not seen my eyes? You can't say that to me. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
I'm just fucking around. Oh my God, they killed me. So you lived there a couple of years, and then
I came here. Yeah.
And you first grade, or what grade did you start here?
In high school, beginning of.
In high school. Okay, so what was that like? So you already had the French down.
Yeah.
But was it like a little like your French was like clearly not Quebec French?
Yeah, that's like I spoke the language properly. Like I could understand it more. The accent, I would say, was different. And
so you spoke like France French.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, but we just didn't speak the accent, and also like some expressions we didn't know, like just adapting into the culture. But like my base was French, and my first language, actually I learned French before Creole. So it's more into the accent. So when I came in, people were like, what did you say? Can you repeat that again? I don't understand, because I had my Haitian accent, and even the words I was using was like Haitian. And so I just stopped talking the first year.
I heard from people who speak French, like French, and like other type. They say that the Quebec French is like you got something in your mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the dialect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's literally that. But I also was in the French from France high school in Montreal. So I was mainly with French people from France.
Oh, yeah. So wait. So what do the French people from France think about the Quebecs? Are they like snotty about it? They're like,
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're pretty snobby about it. They're like, this is not French.
This is not, you call this, how I would hate to serve a person like that a croissant. You know what I mean? You call this a croissant? I'm from Paris. Like, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up and just eat it.
Yeah, because we put ham and cheese. Like, this is not a croissant. Like, it's supposed to be without ham and cheese. Yeah.
Excuse me, what is this? This is not a croissant. Croissant. Like,
oh my God. So that was it. And then after, like, I started, I went back to, no, I went to CEGEP in English. So I switched.
Okay.
And I did university in English as well. So I started, like, meeting Quebecers, like, at work, in the workforce more. So there was a lot of adapting happening here. So I had to adapt to the French from French accent, and then after learn English. Like I understood English. Like if I watch a movie by then, like I would understand some words.
Yeah.
But I didn't speak the language, so I learned everything like at Vanier in the CEGEP, and so I had a little French accent. They could see that I was francophone. Yeah.
Did the people were you like for the most part embraced when you came? Like, were you kind of like people embraced you with open arms, or was there like, because I heard I have a friend of mine who actually moved from Congo. He's a Congolese kid.
Yeah.
And he's not really that a friend, but he's a comedian in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the guy in a year, but but anyways, he said that he has a bit about moving from Congo to Canada, and it's pretty much like he's like, my family moved to Quebec because we wanted to feel the racism right away. Yeah. So is Quebec like, my experience with Quebec is that I go to Quebec City. Like I used to be in the Navy, so I used to do training in Quebec City, and Montreal and Quebec City are totally different vibes.
Yeah.
As soon as you leave Montreal, you really start feeling Quebec, and it's not, and I don't know if it's racism or I don't know if it's that I'm Anglo and they're Franco, and because they right away when I speak English, there's already like there's an attitude right away. But in Montreal, everyone speaks English and French, so I don't get it. So is it I don't know if is it a race thing or is it a French thing? I think based on your experience, we'll find out. It's
a mix of both, honesty, and the fact that I speak French, so I would say it was more race for me if I had to do the minus and plus, but also they could see whenever I say I'm coming from Vanier, Concordia, they would see that I'm more adapted to the English side, so they would try to pick me no, come to the French side type of thing. So there's a little battle in Montreal. So it's not the same feeling as when you go to Quebec, but it's more in the city. It's more there's a little battle where you're gonna be, which group is gonna take you more. As an immigrant, they're do you want to go to the English or the French? You need to choose type.
So there's a split.
Yeah, it's there's a split. You definitely feel the split, and the fact that you're external, you could see it with an external point of view. And
gotcha.
So I don't know if they see it, but definitely if you're from the outside, you see it. So you feel you need to choose. Where do I go? There. Yeah.
If you hang out with one group of friends, would they always be speaking English, and another group of friends would always be speaking French?
Yeah, exactly. So it's literally two worlds, or they understand it. Let's say you can find Quebecers or Anglos that just speak their language. You would find Anglos that just speak English, but they wouldn't understand words in there. In French, you would find Quebecers that would speak just French, and some of them sometimes can understand some words of English, or you don't know anything about English. So, but definitely there's a little bitching happening sometimes. It depends with who you are. Definitely, I'm not saying that everybody's like this. There's some people that can do the mix well, but often the vibe is you need to choose.
And in your experience in Quebec, are there more people who speak English and don't know a word of French, or are there more people who speak French and don't know a word of English?
I can't do the stats. I would say it's about the same amount. I would say more French that don't speak a word of English, more. But even now, it's it's evolving. A lot of young people. I would say the young. If we go into that age,
I'm
20.
talking like 30, 40, 50 as well. Not just like,
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like, we need to do the age group here. Like, older ones, yes, they're more French that don't speak a word of English. Why? Because they passed the law that you need to study. Like, if your parents are English, you need to go to a French school. So unless you go to private, if you want to go to like a primary school in just English, you need to go private. But if you want to go public, you need to go to French first, and then after you can choose by CEGEP and university.
So that's how they instill French in everybody.
Yeah. So you would definitely find a lot of Anglos that would understand French. They wouldn't speak it because they don't practice. It's very possible to have like a full English life. Like, you work in an English company, you have English friends, and your family's English. Like, it's very possible to have that in Montreal. And the opposite as well. You work in a French company, like just French. But it depends on the industry as well. If you live downtown, if you work downtown, you definitely need both. So you feel it. And also, like, I'm in digital marketing. When I was working in a company, like, the hiring management was always English, from Toronto. So you do feel these little things happening. Yeah.
Interesting. When you were in high school and like you'd go to or like high school, college, and when you'd go to a party, would the party be one language usually? Would it be like multiple languages? Obviously, right now there's curfew, so you'll be shot on sight, especially if you're Jewish, right? So
God,
besides,
don't say that.
I mean, you told me they're wrangling them up. You know what I mean?
It wasn't after the curfew. It wasn't after the curfew. It was normal hours, I think. But
yeah, I'm fucking around. I'm fucking around with you. But you know what I mean though? Like, is it like one language in the party?
It's possible, very possible, because I did both worlds, so I would say it's very possible. When I was in the high school from France, it was mainly French, but we also had Anglos that were in the French school because they had to learn French.
Because their parents were English.
Their parents were English, yeah. So
I'm learning.
You would listen French and English, and then all the other immigrants' language. So you would have a bit of Arabic there, and because my high school was the UN, basically.
Yeah, I hope it was the good version of the UN.
The good version of UN, yeah. Like, you had different cultures. It was very mixed. Not a lot of brown people. I met a lot of brown people back to Vanier. Vanier was more brown people, like in the English side. Especially, like, I live in Ville Saint Laurent, so there's like a huge community of brown people there too, and Vanier is in Ville Saint Laurent, so that's where I met them. But like, when I was in my high school, it was mainly mix of like Arab, Asian, French, and it was mainly Arabs from Maghreb, and then Lebanons, people from
Lebanon. A lot of Lebanese there, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So when I went to Vanier, then I was able to go to parties just English.
Okay.
So it's very possible. And then when I started working with more French people, like Quebecers, and I was going to parties. Like I say, if they invite me in their environment, it was just French, just Quebecers. So
is there a different vibe? I gotta know. I mean, I'm really going in on you with the questions, but I want to know because I spent, probably collectively 6 months in Quebec and in Quebec City, probably. So it's like, I was just shocked. I'm always like, if I run into someone who lives here and they speak English, they for sure know French.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm running into so many people who they won't even tell me a yes or no in French. They'll cut me. Like, I'll go into a convenience store and I'll be like, and I have to show an attempt at French and a failure. They have to save me, and they just kind of like, I'll be like, le toothpaste, le crest, le Colgate. You know what I mean? Type deal. My brother went a long time ago. He went to France, and he was in Paris, and he was looking for the Eiffel Tower, and he was asking French, and Parisians are supposed to be the worst. So I already get it just from a little bit of a vibe from like Quebec, and I don't know what is this attitude shit that's attached itself with the French, because he couldn't get anybody to fucking tell him where it was until like some guy was like the Eiffel Tower, like type of deal, and like pointed. Like eventually, like there's just like an anti-English vibe, and I don't know how that cultivated. But what I want to know is like, who do you like hanging out with more? Be honest. Like if it's an all English party versus an all French party, what's different? Is the music better at one or the other? Who's cooler? Who's like, tell me, I want to know this shit.
To save my life, I'm going to say Haitians.
Okay. That's fair. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. You gotta play ball, right? But like,
yeah, you gotta play right. No, but I would say it's different vibe. Honestly, I cannot just compare. Like the music would be different. And also the fact that I'll say I'm more close to English culture just because I did more time like Vanier and university, CEGEP and university in English. So it's more at work that I started like having more friends that are like fully French or like more Quebecers, and like they have some music like very French music, and I'm like, what's that? I don't know it. Like they would jam into that, and I'll be like, okay, like I don't know what that is. I never heard of it, and they would be surprised, like, how come you don't know this? Like it's known in Montreal. I'm like, yeah, it's very possible to live in Montreal and never heard like a French music like in the French side. So I would say like I like parties when it's more mixed.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely better. But if you go to really English and French, like it's two different vibe. Like I don't know how to compare it, honestly. It's literally two different vibes.
That's interesting. This whole Quebec thing is so interesting.
It's crazy, yeah.
I just find it those fucking Quebecois. You know what I mean? Even in the Navy, there's Francos, and they're like even in the Navy, because the Navy is like all of Canada, and it's the one time where like in boot camp, there's a lot of Quebec people who like only like grew up with French, so their English is like the lowest level. They're always like, in my mind, they're always, I don't know if it's like pseudo-European. They always drank way more. They always swore way more. They're always way rougher around the edges. You know what I mean? They're always like, you know, like imagine.
I don't have that feeling. I feel like English too. They drink a lot. Like I would say both. Both sides.
This is my experience at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like in Montreal, I all I'm basing this off is Quebec City and Montreal.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. But like, keep in mind, this is also the people that are deciding to join the military in their 30s. Okay. So this is
that's
they're doing boot camp. I'm 17, they're 33. You know what I mean? Like they're doing boot camp now. So it's like clearly they weren't doing everything exactly right up until this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So but I feel like, but it's like, it's how you see it as a perception. Like, because if we go to Americans, they're like just English and they don't care about any other languages, and they're not open-minded. So I feel like how I was able to separate it, to not discriminate or to not have any stereotypes. I separated by open-minded people and closed-minded people, because I feel like you can find this in all cultures. Like even in my own culture, there are people that are just closed-minded. They would listen just to like Haitian music, nothing else, just speak the language, nothing else. And because with immigration, I would say my identity is like I cannot go in one culture. Like I can't. Like I'm bored. I'm like, get me some spicier. Like
I don't know if this is the case in Montreal, but like where I'm from, like where I grew up in London, Ontario, you could have Arab families and like Somali and Sudani families who have come there, and there's like, it's like a community of, 500 to 1,000 of them. Yeah. And the older people have been there for 20, 30, 40 years and don't know a word of English. So the Haitians, the same type of vibe in Montreal. Like,
some of them are like, I was having that discussion actually when I was in Haiti. I was like, because I had a friend from Montreal, and she was like, you don't know that French song? And I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, how come you live in Montreal? Like we live in two different cities then, but we're both in Montreal. And I was like, well, it's very possible to not know anything about another part of the city. And I was like, I'm actually not that bad. I actually know some expressions. I know like the culture, the food. I'm like, I'm not that bad compared to so many people. And it's the same vibe for us too, like especially older generation. Let's say like grandmothers, some of them don't know a word of French. Like it's very possible to have someone that just speaks Creole and they live in Haiti, in Montreal. Or the opposite as well. Like let's say I would take my parents, they speak French, they're more comfortable in French, like they would understand English, but they would be like the Quebecers, they'd be like, no, we don't want to speak English, like give it to me in French. because they're more comfortable into it. So I guess it depends on the evolution of the person or how, like, I guess it's a choice by now. I feel like the person who doesn't know the word of another language is their choice. Like after 30 years,
yeah,
you made
exactly.
a choice. Like,
yeah.
like no excuses here. You made a choice.
Yeah, you're so right. It's like indifference, but sometimes the size of the community is so large.
It's like a lot of people made the same choice. That's how
you can live fully, apply to every government thing, do your taxes, have a job, and never need to speak English or French.
And they use their kids too. They use their kids. They're like,
yeah, exactly.
Yes. I sent you to school to speak the language for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally. So
it's crazy to see stuff like that.
My parents do tell me that for the English. They're like, you studied English for us too. It's like,
you're like, yeah, I'm trying multiple things. You know what I mean? I'm not just in this one corner. Like, hey, what's around the block? They're like, no. That's not a Haitian area.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the English, like my mom can correct my paper for me in English, but she doesn't want to speak it. I'm like, it's a choice. You know the language. You can correct my paper properly.
But I'm not even talking about knowing it and not using it. I'm talking about not knowing it. You know
at all. I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very possible.
What's the industry that Haitians have cornered in Montreal? Like where I grew up, Sudanese were all the cab drivers. Every cab driver is either Sudani, Somali, maybe Ethiopian, Palestinian, like the Arabs, but the Sudanese, like 90% cab drivers. Like, in fact, I had one uncle who managed a Silver City, Cineplex theater. And it was crazy to us that this guy was like, was managing because every other one I knew had a cab. All of them, including my dad, all of them had a cab. And this guy like managed a theater. And as a kid, I didn't even get it. I was like, how the fuck did you get this? Like, if this is possible, why is everyone driving a cab type deal?
Well, I would say stereotypes. I would go into the stereotypes here. The cab drivers too in Montreal. Like there are a lot of Haitians, Arabs, and I think, that would be the main ones. And nurse.
That's a good one. That's an awesome one. Yeah, I wish the Sudanese had that.
Nursing. Yeah, a lot of nursing. And these are the two main ones. But definitely now with my generation, like I'm not a nurse or cab driver, either or. I'm in digital marketing. So now we kind of split, especially like with my generation, like, and even the kids that actually were born here. Like I wasn't born there, so the ones after me, it's even more like mixed. And they also did their education here mostly, so they didn't have to go through the like I'm gonna adapt as an immigrant type of thing.
It's a much easier process because they go to kindergarten and junior kindergarten with the locals. So it's like they come up, and when they go there, they're extra weird. You know what I mean? When they go back there, they're like extra out of it.
That's so true. I never understood that until I saw when I took the airport to come back. There was one girl I bought in the airport that was like, while you're waiting in the gate, there was like a cafe. They were selling croissant actually with ham and cheese.
Yeah, for $11.99.
No, it wasn't that bad actually. It was like $8, $8 USA.
What? That's terrible. That's literally like around $11 Canadian, which is that's a good guess.
True.
That's a good guess.
That is so true. And I gave 10 US. I was like, just keep the $10. But
they're like, there's a required 30% service fee. Like,
I know, but she gave me 2 croissants. She was nice. I gave her $10 and she gave me 2 croissants. So she was really happy that I gave her the 10 and she gave me 2. So anyways, all this to say that after I got my order and everything, another girl came and I saw right away that she was not born in Haiti. She was born in Montreal actually, because it was the plane to go back to Montreal. And one of the girl like in the cashier, she was like, okay, you can give like, she gave the price, like no customer service, like as we know here, you know, she was like, okay, it's gonna be like this price. Do you need anything else? And she was like very like attitude type of thing. And then the girl from Montreal, like she's originally Haitian, but she grew up in Montreal and I guess she was born because with her accent, and she started talking like, you're not giving me proper customer service.
Wow, really? She's like, you know what? Enough of this. Just let me pay with iPhone tap, okay? Like,
And then there were other guys that were there to start laughing, and I started laughing too. And I was like, "Whoa, that is the first time I see it in my face." I was like, "Wow, you just don't do that." Like
that sounds American. That doesn't even sound Canadian. Canadians aren't that confrontational. That sounds like American.
Well, French side, yes.
Oh yeah, exactly. We forgot the whole Quebec thing, right?
French side, yes. So she was exactly like that, and I laughed so much. I was on my own, and I started laughing, and there were other guys there. They laughed before, and I understood after. It was so funny. I was like, "Do you know where you are? You're talking about customer service." Like,
and this is on the way back out, right?
True. Yeah, on the way
so
back.
It's like, how did you not get this vibe already? You're leaving. What the fuck? How have you not learned? How long have you were here, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's different.
I know.
That's so funny. You know, she was the worst that whole time she was there. The worst.
Yeah, she was probably the worst. I would not want to travel with her.
Oh my God. Yo, why'd you choose digital marketing? What took you to that?
I guess it's a long story. I have a long journey. Actually, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
I wanted to fit in the stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I don't want to do accounting.
I don't like math. I was like, I don't want
math. I guess it's by process of elimination. You know what I mean?
That's what was left. I work in the immigration law too, like in a law firm, and I didn't like it. So I was lucky enough to work before actually going to study law, because I did major sociology and then minor in law. And I was like, I'm gonna work in immigration. Immigration like combine both like social and law type of thing, and didn't like it at all. I was so unhappy. And something happened, and then my boss was like, I'm gonna get rid of you in the department. It was not even my mistake. Like, she just probably saw I didn't like it. I was not fulfilled with the job, and she was like, I'm gonna switch you to another department. And she switched me to assessment team. So you need to apply first in the website you have to do a first triage. And then once you qualify, then they bring you to the law firm, into the law firm. But a lot of people.
So you gotta submit your case or whatever the details are, and then they filter you.
Exactly. And then they filter
and screen you. Yeah, gotcha.
Exactly. So she brought me to that department, the one that was working with the assessment. We had to do the first filter with the count. You know, when you apply for immigration, you need to have the total of X number.
The points system.
Yeah, the point system. So she brought me there. So I was working with the website, and I was working with the computer more than what I was doing before. And I was so fast, and I liked it so much. And I was like, what the hell just happened? And even the manager there, she was like, wow, you're a pretty good fit in this. And so I still left the company because I was so angry at my higher boss. I was like, I don't like you. So I left the company. And then I was still at my parents' house, thank God. So I started doing my website, and then I worked for MTL Blog. And we had to go into their backend to add content.
Yeah.
So I work even more with websites, and then I started doing my website, and that's how I learned with digital marketing. And then I learned about SEO by doing my websites. I had my blog, and I learned everything on my own. So thank God to that higher boss.
Hell yeah, that's a beautiful story. And on a totally unrelated note, can you help me with my website? You know
totally, yes. Yeah, I can.
Yo, I had to do so much work to just appear on Google page 1. I used to appear on I used to do appear on page 2. I'm like, what the fuck? It's my name. I have 0 things on the internet really besides, like, how is my website with my name 100 times in it? We'll talk separately. It pissed me off, but I'm on page 1 now. I'm trying to get to that first result though. You know what I'm talking about.
Good job. So that's what I do, and that's how I learn. And I've been in digital marketing since then. And then I worked for agencies and big companies, and also like small. I did both. And that's where am I now. Yeah.
That's amazing. Cause that's one of those things that you could leverage on a freelance basis so easily. Yeah. You don't Especially have even now. Yeah. I know so many people who have, like, my friend's older brother's been doing that for like 12 years, you know what I mean? And he's got he's living well, and it's like a big it's like a proper company. I don't know if he has people under him now, but it's like, it's always been remote work. Mm-hmm. I think early in his career, he did work for someone in an office.
Mhm.
And then
Wow,
now,
that's
and then
crazy.
for like a decade, it's been like, oh, I'll do everything from my house, and we'll touch base maybe in person once a week at a coffee shop or something, or at your place.
That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Even like for in agencies, I remember before the pandemic, like in December, I remember telling my boss at the time, like, can we work from home? Like, there's nothing I'm doing
He's
in
like, that's
the
crazy. It'll
office that
never
I can't do
happen.
at
It'll
home.
never happen.
Exactly. That's what she said. 2 months after pandemic, guess what we're doing? Working from home. And I had left the company by then. So I laughed so much. I was like, she's probably thinking about me right now. Because I was literally in her office, like in her like in her desk, being like begging her to work from home. And then 2 months after, it was like everybody was working from home, even her.
Yeah, right. You know what it is? And now everyone is like, now all the companies that like they have leases, so they for all this office space,
Better for them.
and as soon as that lease runs up, they'll be like, we've pretty much been 90, 95, maybe just as productive, maybe more productive than we
Yeah.
were before, and we're not incurring that
Yeah.
cost. Why would we have a huge place anymore? But you know what it is? Why they didn't want to let you work from home before the pandemic
Okay.
is like the mindset used to be, if I pay you full-time salary, I need to see that you are here full-time working.
From 9 to 5.
I don't trust. It's not like, it doesn't matter if you do everything that you're required to do. No. I need to see you in here.
Yeah. That's exactly what they told me. They were like, because the CEO at the time, the CEO was like, no, I need to see you in your desk, like sitting from 9 to 5 to make sure that you work because I'm paying you. Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So now are you doing Zoom calls all the time?
Yeah, all the time. All of them. Google Meet, Zoom, whatever platform.
What's the worst thing you hate hearing on a conference call, a Zoom call?
When they ask me questions, when they start asking, we're gonna do a little activity, and I'm like, no. Can we just have a call like in the team calls? So they're like, let's do a little activity. But I understand it, but sometimes I'm like, no.
If someone keeps their camera off, do they go, Steven, can you turn your camera on?
Sometimes they do that. Yeah, it depends on the group. Sometimes they do that. But other times it's just like everybody has their camera off. So it depends on your group.
Gotcha.
There's like a vibe. Depends on the vibe, I guess. But often like when they want you to be part of it, I'm like, just do your presentation and then let's go. They're like, no, I want you to be part of the activity. I'm like, no.
You're like, fuck off. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
But yo, Annick, we're coming up on 1 hour and 10. Let's land this podcast.
Yeah.
Tell the people where to find you, how to find you. And we'll be talking SEO after this. So just tell the people where to find you.
They can find me on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts under the name Immigrant Dilemma. And soon I'm gonna have my own website for the podcast. I'm gonna put it.
I'm assuming you're making it.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not. No.
Obviously, con. And so basically, yeah, I'm on Instagram as well under Immigrant Dilemma name, and you can type the whole thing, but my actual username is Immigrant D_podcast.
Yep, I'll put everything in the description there for you.
Okay, awesome. So that's really about it. That's what I have about a podcast. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And from my end, y'all, if you want to support the podcast directly, just check out patreon.com/the Immigrant Section. There's bonus episodes. There's behind the scenes stuff. There's extra stuff. Support the pod. Otherwise, episodes come out every Tuesday. And just make sure you subscribe and follow on wherever you're listening, watching. That's all I ask. And always tell a friend. Annick, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you big time. Did you get that?
Thank you so much for inviting. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. Like, it cut it a little bit. Thank you so much for inviting me. Like, it was a pleasure. Like, it's really fun. It was a good 1 hour. Like, very funny.
Hell yeah, appreciate you. And I'd love to come back on your pod anytime you'll have me.
Definitely. See ya.
Okay, awesome. Peace. Thanks, everyone. Easy. Yo, and that's the episode. Remember, if you liked it, smash that subscribe button so I can give you updates. And until next time, it's your boy, Abbas Wahab. Easy.